set.
Good evening. And
Recording
welcome.
in progress.
Got it. Good evening and welcome to the 604th regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission. This meeting is being held virtually across the Zoom platform and has been announced on the city's website. Ms. Quillen, if you would please call the roll.
Council President Cole,
Here.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Kish,
Here.
Mr. Welford,
Here.
Mr. Grant, Chairwoman Bettman.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Before I move on to agenda item 2, I would like to first congratulate our ex officio member, Keith Sidnor, who is now the mayor of our fine city, who was a member of our planning commission. And I would like to, on behalf of all of the commissioners, welcome Council President James Cole to the Planning Commission. And we look forward to your input as we move forward.
Thank you very much. I look forward to being here.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 2, the approval of the minutes from the November 14, 2023 meeting. The minutes have been sent to us electronically and all have reviewed. Are there any questions for staff? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 14th, 2023 as received from staff.
Madam
Chair, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Welford and Mr. Kish. Ms. Quillen, if you will please call the roll.
Mr. Welford,
Yes.
Mr. Kish,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Chairwoman Bettman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 3, the amended site and landscape plan and resolution number 23-15-PC 14921 Baltimore Avenue, filed by King Kia of Laurel, Kyle Donaldson. This agenda item also includes a public hearing on the application and final action by the Planning Commission. We are ready for the staff report.
Good evening, Madam Chair and fellow board members. This is Deputy Director Monte Burrows. Amended site and landscape plan application was filed on November 13th, 2023 by Kyle Donaldson, King Kia of Laurel. The current and existing use of the site is an automobile and vehicle dealership. The parcel of land consists of 86,319 square feet and is zoned CG Commercial General. The property is not in the flood zone. The applicant is proposing exterior alteration to the site. The alterations include construction of a 1,440 square foot addition to the existing Kia of Laurel vehicle service site building, adding an open air canopy, new entry area, walk and ramp located in the front side of the property. And you can see that on the architectural drawings. Under date of November the 21st, 2023, a cover letter and a building plan asking for comments were sent to the state and local agency and a memo to the City of Laurel Department. Comments from the local state agency and City of Laurel departments are stated in the staff report. Also on November the 21st, 2023, a letter explaining the nature of the application and advising of the scheduled public hearing before the City of Laurel Planning Commission was sent by standard mail to continued property owners. All receipts were returned and received. The file contains an affidavit signed by the applicant attesting that a zoning sign has been placed on the subject property, has remained, and shall remain until the decision is reached by the Planning Commission. It is recommended that the City of Laurel Planning Commission approve the amended site and landscape and resolution number 2315 PC for 14921 Baltimore Avenue, Laurel, with the following condition. The applicant shall obtain all required City of Laurel permits. Applicant shall comply with all applicable local, state, and federal laws and regulation in the development of the property. And the applicant shall contact Myste Utility prior to any excavation. That concludes the reading of the file, Madam Chair, and the applicant should be on the line for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow. I have just one clarification for the record. You stated that contiguous properties were notified via standard mail. I just want to state for the record, if you would confirm, you meant certified mail, correct?
Correct, I'm sorry, yes, thank you.
No,
Madam Chair.
No problem. Being a former postal employee, the difference between standard and certified is a big, big deal. So just for the record purposes, I just wanted to make that clear. And you stated that the receipts were received.
Thank you.
We do have the applicant on the phone. I would ask Mr. Donaldson, is there anything that you wanted to say in advance, or would you just like us to ask questions if there are any questions?
Hi, everybody. This is Patrick LeVay with MHG. I work with Kyle Donaldson. He's actually here with me in the office. On behalf of the applicant, we're the civil engineers for the project. Just wanted to say thank you to you, Madam Chair, and the members of the commission, and certainly Mr. Burrow for helping us get through this process quickly and efficiently. And I know the applicant looks forward to getting this project completed for you.
Thank you. And Mr. LeVay, for our records, would you please state your address or your office address?
Yeah, it's 9220 Whiteman Road, WIGHTMAN Road, Suite 120, and that's Montgomery Village, Maryland, 20886.
Thank you very much. I'll now go through the commissioners and council president to see if there are any questions of staff or the applicant. Mr. Kish,
I have none. Thank you.
Mr. Welford,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Wilson,
No questions, thank you.
Council President Cole.
I think the presentation was well put together, and I look forward to seeing the new facade in addition.
Thank you. This application requires a public hearing. We do not currently have anyone signed up for the hearing. However, I will open the public hearing at 6:07 p.m. Is there anyone on this call wishing to speak?
Madam Chair, you're muted.
Thank you. Am I back on? So it said the host muted me. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Thank you very much. I will close the public hearing at 6:07 p.m., having no one to speak. I will entertain a motion. So,
Madam Chair, it's Rick. I will move to approve the amended site and landscape plan, including resolution number 23-15-PC for 14921 Baltimore Avenue as filed by the applicant and including the staff report.
thank you. Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Kish. Ms. Quillen, if you would please call the roll.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes,
Mr. Kish,
Yes.
Mr. Welford,
Yes,
Mr. Grant,
Yes,
thank you. Chairwoman Bettman,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Before I move on to the agenda item 4, Mr. Grant has joined us, and I would just like to, for the record, welcome Mr. Grant as a full member of the commission. He is no longer an alternate and a full member. So thanks, Dennis, for agreeing to join us as a permanent member.
my pleasure.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 4, special exception application number 953-349 Main Street, Unit 1, Myste Lounge, filed by OPS LLC, Temitope Popoola, for recommendation to the Board of Appeals.
Good evening again, Madam Chair and fellow commission members. This is Deputy Director Monte Burrow. The applicant is seeking special exception approval to operate a smoker lounge. The property is zoned commercial village. The current space is vacant. November 24, 2014, text amendment number 1815 was approved to allow smoker lounge uses by special exception in the commercial village zone. The applicant will be renovating and occupying 500 square feet of space located on the first floor. Currently, the building is mixed use, 2 commercial spaces and 3 apartment units. The applicant, Myste Lounge, will operate during the following hours: Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Saturday and Sunday also 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. During the hours of operation, Myste Lounge will have a controlled environment, which includes an equipped alarm system, an ID checks at the entrance, the playing of moderate music, and at late night, and security checks to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the Laurel residents as well as the workers. Myste Lounge will be staffed with approximately 1 employee and 1 manager each day. Staffing may scale depending on the volume of business. According to Code Section 2016.5 and Section 2016.6, the scheduled parking requirements is 1 per space for 200 square feet of the first 3,000 square feet of gross floor area. The property is located in a parking modification, which allows 60% reduction of retail use under 500 square feet. There are 18 parking spaces on site. The parking area is located in the rear. For the smoking lounge, required parking is 7 and on site is 18. Landscaping per the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Section 27.11. A CV zone district requires a minimum green space area of 10%. The site currently has landscape which includes grass area, trees, and bushes that cover 17% of the property. In the staff report, the applicant has answered Section 2021.01 of the Unified Land Development Code, which lists 5 criteria for special exception generally included. That concludes the reading, Madam Chair, and the applicant is on the line for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bro. Are there any questions for staff?
Yes, this is Rick.
Go ahead, Rick.
I'm just questioning the 18 spaces. Are those marked spaces behind the establishment?
Yes, there are spaces behind there. We can ensure have the owner stripe them, but the owner sent me an email verified that there are 18 spaces on site.
Okay, because that doesn't count out on the street. That's just
No.
behind.
For any, just to clarify, and thank you, Mr. Wilson, for any parking calculations, we do not allow for street parking to be added to the tabulation. Everything has to be on site.
Okay, I just want to make sure because it's, there's a couple of, there's an adjacent building there. When I drove by, but if you guys say there's 18, there's 18. It's fine. It's whatever it is. I just couldn't quite make out 18, but okay.
Thank you. Mr. Welford, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Grant?
Yes, the time of operations again, you said was going to be, could you repeat that for me, please?
Yes, the time of operations from 7 days a week will be 2 p.m. to 2 a.m.
And you're gonna have 1 staff member?
From the applicant's application, he stated that there'll be 1 employee and 1 managerial staff person on site.
Okay. And age requirements for entering this this facility? Is there any age criteria set forth? I think I saw 21 somewhere.
Yes, correct. And it's report and also state law, I believe, is 21.
Correct. Who's going to verify who's coming through the door at 21 versus 19 or 18?
Well, from the staff report and also the applicant, he ensures that ID check will be done.
By whom? Who will be doing that? Who will be doing the monitoring of who's entering and who's leaving?
Well, I believe the applicant should be on the line. He can answer that. We just going by what's stated on the application, and I do appreciate you, stating that. We just hopefully, that what he's stating that he will, that it will be done.
Yep, and I could give it a little more context. Good evening, Madam Chair and council members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you in front of you today. We are planning to contract with a security company so that we ensure, especially on busy nights, that we have some security officers that would check IDs. Outside of that, the manager and employee on the site will be validating IDs for every clientele that works in.
Thank you. And could you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure. My name is Temitope Popoola. Address is 349 Main Street, apartment 1.
Thank
Laurel.
you very much. Mr. Grant, does that answer your question?
Yes. Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Kish, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a question. It's about in reference to the parking behind there, the 18 spaces. Is there a business being run down in the basement of that store where those parking places are, like a car washing and detailing shop? Is it still there?
It's still there. They typically are closed. They usually close by 4:30 p.m. every day. Our hours of operations will go beyond that, so we expect that there won't be much of a crossover, if you will. But there are 9 spaces on each side of that property, so we have enough space over there to ensure that we have enough adequate parking for our clients.
I just asked that question because I've gone by there before, and those parking spaces are packed back there.
Yeah,
That's,
right.
you know,
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's at all different times. That's after 4 o'clock also. Some cars are up there overnight, I believe.
Right, and I think that was probably prior to the new owner. But with the new owner, he assures us that parking will be available. And the current business that's there right now, I believe they essentially park just haphazardly on that parking lot, and it's been a free for all. But the new owner assures us that we'll have access to that parking.
I noticed on the thing, who is the owner of that property?
It's Bells and Bells. I'm sorry, 349 Main Street LLC is the owner of that property. He just recently acquired that property. His name is Bello, I believe.
Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're muted, Mitz.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Council President Cole, do you have any questions of the applicant or the staff?
Mine is similar, related to parking, but it's a different topic. I may have missed this in the application. What is the occupancy of the inside?
For the whole site, Councilman Cole, is 4,400 square feet, and they're occupying 500 square feet. And also because they're in a parking modification that reduces the total parking that they would have to have on site if they were a normal parking area.
Were you asking occupancy of number of people that can be in the property at one time?
The property.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to answer that. That would have to be a fire marshal question.
Applicant and Mr. Tempo, do you have an estimate for your occupancy?
Yeah, we estimate roughly around 25 to 35 people. It's a pretty small space. And so we expect just to have roughly about that much people in there.
Council, if I could say, Council President Cole, that's determined during the life and safety inspection when they come in for the use and occupancy. So that'll be stated at that time.
That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent question. And my question to the applicant is just that I believe right now there is a bakery next door to you. The technical staff report includes, and I believe the fire marshal also requested, in terms of the monitors that would be needed, the carbon monoxide, and but also the ventilation. Are you comfortable with those requirements, that you will have enough ventilation that the subsequent, the adjacent properties won't be smelling the smoke?
Absolutely. We plan to install a heavy-duty ventilation system to ensure that smells don't go across and we also plan to install carbon monoxide and smoke detector combinations to ensure that we have enough alerts to patrons and, to protect the safety of our clientele as well.
Thank you very much. This special exception does not require a public hearing. I do not have anyone else signed up. However, I would like to pause for just a couple seconds. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this application? Hearing none, and if there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion. Ooh. Any commissioners for a motion?
I'm not muted. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve, trying to find my paperwork here. To approve special exception application number 953 for 349 Main Street. Unit number 1 is filed by the applicant, and it's our recommendation to the Board of Appeals.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I will second Mr. Wilson's motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Welford. Ms. Quillen, if you would please call the roll.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Welford,
Yes.
Mr. Kish,
Yes.
Mr. Grant,
No.
Chairwoman Bettman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Welcome to Laurel and best of luck with your new business.
Thank you very much.
There is no further business before the committee. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Good night.
Good night, Brooke.
Good night.